Pope died.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm sad about it. My resting state is anxious, neurotic, and riddled with unmoored guilt. So it should come as no surprise to you that I went to a Catholic primary school. I often wonder what kind of adult I would have grown up into if I had not been taught from such a young and porous age that the Bible was 100% fact. Guess we'll never know. Catholicism really made a huge impact on my tiny self, and its effects have lingered on for pretty much my entire life so far. I'm far from a Catholic these days, but I have definitely had dark moments in my life where I have earnestly turned to the Bible for comfort. Anyway, it always surprises me when I get a shock from my Catholic education like decades after it actually happened. Not to mention like decades after I really truly had faith in God as he's described in the Bible, and even when so much of the Catholic Church itself and even the Pope stand for so much that I really don't believe in. I guess this sadness springs from some kind of reservoir that I've been filling within myself since I was like 5 years old. And it's so deep within me and ingrained that it's otherwise inaccessible at any other time. So yeah, when Pope Francis died, I was a bit sad about it. Groundbreaking. And when it came out that he died literal hours after meeting with JD Vance, I laughed. Okay, sue me. Or perhaps smite me. Something else that has really sparked joy for me right now has been all the gossip and buzz around who is going to be the next pope.
We got a brand new season of the Pope Games coming out.
He's got this magical wooden wand.
Now pay attention to this name, Pizzaballa. Pier Battista Pizzaballa. Pizzaballa in Italian literally translates to pizza, balla, dance. So pizza dance. Now,
some people say they were born in the wrong era, but I know I was born at exactly the right time because I need to know the Real Housewives intros for all the potential new popes. It was God's plan. I do wish that the papal selection process was something a little bit more like RuPaul's Drag Race, where perhaps potential popes have to create their own ceremonial robes in a sewing challenge. And then no matter how many times we've seen RuPaul's Drag Race, there's like 20 seasons now, there's always someone who doesn't know how to sew and they come in saying, I don't know how to sew. And RuPaul and everybody watching at home is always like, how could you go into RuPaul's Drag Race at like season 50 million and not know how to sew? What was I talking about? Or perhaps Dancing with the Stars, where they have to perform a little jig to an ancient Gregorian chant and then we all as an audience get to vote for who we think is the best one. Or maybe Survivor, where they have to outwit, outlast, and outplay their opponents. Or maybe it's a little bit more like Survivor than I first thought. In case you haven't watched Conclave, which you should, because it's really good, what actually happens when it comes to picking a new pope is kind of mysterious. In the days after the old pope dies, cardinals flock to Rome so that they can sequester themselves within the Sistine Chapel and place a vote on who they think should be the next pope. Literally any baptized Catholic man can potentially be voted pope, but for the last like hundreds of years, it's been a cardinal amongst the cardinals who are voting. And speaking of sequestering, in the modern world, the papal conclave is really sequestered. They fit out the Sistine Chapel with like Wi-Fi jammers, and then all these cardinals have to go through like airport security level 50 billion just to get inside. Then once they are inside, they basically just like vote until one cardinal reaches the majority of the votes. And then someone makes the white smoke come out of the chimney and everyone's happy because there's a new pope. As you can tell from my somewhat vague explanation, we don't 100% know exactly what goes down in the conclave while the cardinals are sequestered. I am so nosy that I can see myself going through the process of becoming a cardinal, which, by the way, is illegal for me because I'm a woman, just so I can find out the conclave tea. That is literally like the final boss of gossip, and I will find out what it is. The conclave to select the new pope after Pope Francis is set to begin on May 7. And this falls squarely in Taurus season, which I'm sure many Catholics would call me a witch for pointing out. But honestly, I think that's a really good omen. We need a new pope who is of the earth and humble and perhaps a little bit stubborn. And I say that because this new pope is probably going to have to be able to survive another visit from the harbinger of death in JD Vance. I'm so sorry, that still makes me laugh.